This podcast is brought to you by Hoare Chartered Accountants. Hoare Chartered Accountants are based in Galway City and are a leading provider of audit, accountancy and taxation services. For more information, visit hoarecharteredaccountants.ie.
Hi everyone, you're all very welcome back to the Maroon and White Pod. I have my sidekick to the left of me again tonight, and tonight delighted to be joined by a great friend of ours and probably one of the best camogie players to ever grace the pitch in Sharon Glynn. 4 All-Ireland club medals, 8 county titles with her club, Pierce's, 5 All-Ireland club titles, and Player of the Year 3 times, Hall of Famer in 2019. The list goes on. Just one of the best I've ever played with, and managed us in 2005 to a league county title or league All-Ireland title with Galway as well. So and she's been there and done that. Player, manager, the whole lot, and a legend, pure legend. But the one thing is, we went to picture this or picture that the last night. We did. She didn't know one song. She didn't, but you know what? There was 6 of us. Ole, ole, ole. And a shout out to Laura Bride, Trace Maher, Pam Nevin, and the two of us here in Sharon. We were at Picture This. But before we get to talk to Sharon, a wonderful advocate for camogie is Sharon, and she has serious skills, serious ability, and rumour has it she was a speedy forward.
And rumour has it, and you should know better what rumours, girls, shouldn't you?
You are so welcome to the pod, and to all our listeners. We tried this about 6-7 months ago, but our tech guys let us down, and unfortunately we're talking all good camogie. Sharon, you're very welcome, and we're delighted to have you on the pod tonight, and we're just taking a look at the big test for Galway at the weekend against Tipperary. And how are you doing?
I'm good. I'm delighted to be here. I didn't expect to see you so soon again after
I know.
Picture that or picture this or picture or whatever they were called.
I'm delighted you knew the song at the end though. She goes, I know this one. And I said, no, that's ABBA.
Well, no, I knew 3 songs, Ole, 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 Ole twice, and ABBA at the end, yeah, so I did well. A little outside of my generation, I think now, girls. But anyway, we had a good night.
It was a good crack. Yeah. Look, like ourselves, Sharon, I'm sure you'll be heading to Nolan Park on Saturday when the 2 camogie semi-finals, and again, big test for 4 teams, but in particular Galway and Tipperary. And you look at Tipperary after winning the All-Ireland hurling. I'd say the crack is good in Tipperary at the moment, but hopefully those girls will be well grounded, and I'm sure they'll put it up to Galway at the weekend.
Oh yeah, I've no doubt. Yeah, absolutely heading to Nolan Park, girls. But look at last year, sure, there was nothing. There was only the puck of the ball in it. I think it'll be a big battle and a big test for Galway on Saturday. Tip, I suppose this year a bit of a mixed year, you know. Yeah. I think after last year, I'd say we all expected them maybe to kick on. And put a few titles, maybe the league and things like that. But, you know, we still found ourselves with Galway and Harkin in a league final, which have been probably the dominant 2 there for the last couple of years again. But look, it'll be a big day. It'll come down to big performances from the big players. You know, when you talk about Tip winning the hurling on Sunday, sure, the big names, the old stagers, the likes of the Rona Mahers, John McGrath, you know, they're your 2 men in contention for player of the matches or man of the matches. And I think if you're looking at Tip again Sunday, I think Marie Everston at centre back is having a wonderful year. Caoimhe McCarthy was at the wing there in the All-Ireland quarter-final against Kilkenny, who got player of the match. She was brilliant. Karen Kindy obviously coming to midfield just adds that bit more going forward.
Yeah, power.
And you know, and she has all the ability in the world. Better than a league final there too. Was it last year in Dublin? You know, her goal kind of. Yeah. So look, Galway are going to have their hands full. But having said that, we have obviously Shauna Healy back. We have a few girls back. You know, Roisin Black hasn't kind of found herself onto the team yet, but still, if you're looking defensively, she's not a bad soul to be looking back at, knowing she's there to come in. Emma Hellebert back in the squad, you know, missing last year. And look, again, it comes down to, if you look, I suppose, at what we've done so far, Carrie Dolan in the free taking has been very critical to our scores and things like that. You know, we're putting up 17 and 18 and 16 points. Carrie's probably coming up with well half of those most of the times, you know. So the free taking is going to be critical, I'd say, again on Saturday. And Niamh Mallon, obviously, like, is still one of our top forwards, and will take Mindon. And you know, you add in then the new Caoimhe Kelly is in her first probably more full-time year, Maria Dillon there from Kilkenarden. Do you know, you have a few girls on, the two rabbits are in and out there. Aoife Dunn, who obviously we're going back again to one or two of the older stagers, as we call them now. So look, we have a good squad as well. And no more than Tip, there's a great momentum, I'd imagine, in Tip this week, though. So, do you know, you'd wonder, does that bring a little advantage to Tip? Do you know, there has to be a massive high in the county. And I think
Maria Daviston was on about it, actually. She was interviewed there just literally after the game, and they were saying, will it affect their kind of preparation or whatever?
Yeah.
And she said no, that it'll really drive them on, because she's first cousins with the McGraths, you see. So she's like, oh, the boys have one up on us now, so we need to look. It's a great, when you see like winning teams coming in around you, it's kind of it can give you a drive. So it'll be a good catalyst for them.
It will, and I just think, you know, the buzz that's in the county, you know, if it was ourselves after winning the All-Ireland, the hurling last week, and we were going into a Camogie semi-final, you know, because we have an awful lot of family connections, let it be in Tip or God or wherever. And I do think they'll probably bring a good crowd, because I'd imagine it's a bank holiday in Tipperary all of this week. Like, I wouldn't say there's a whole lot being done now. Yeah, so, you know, look, it is going to be a big test for Galway, and I suppose they're a team in a bit of transition too, girls, really. You know, we're introducing the new players, Olwen and Sabina Rabbit, the Cueva Kellys, the Mairead the Dillons, the Ali Hesnans. These girls have kind of been on the panel now for the last year or two, and are starting to, it's like everything else, you're starting to replace one or two girls who've been there for the last 10, 12 years. So, and it takes a fine mix, doesn't it, of youth and experience and everything.
Youth and experience. Yeah, absolutely. And do you think, Sharon, will it be kind of a rematch of that dramatic finish from last year when Galway tipped them just by that point? Or do you think Tipperary, maybe going into Saturday's game, will have learned a valuable lesson from that game last year? Like, when you think about it, it was a puck of the ball from Carrie Dolan, like that crucial free. That might hurt.
The crucial free, that's right. And Aoife Dunn came with a cracking score just before that. Like, I think it'll be tight. I don't really think. I think defensively, see, both counties are quite decent. Yes, do we get caught occasionally? We do. And I think when we play the Corks of this world and that running game, you know, we certainly can. We do get exposed in. I think our midfield partnership, and I'm probably now blue in the face saying this over the last 20 years. If you're winning at midfield, you look back over the All-Irelands we've won and look back over the big games we've won in the last 20 years, and I'd say you could look at a lot of games. If midfield can get control that game, and you won't control it for the full hour, but if you could control that for 70 odd minutes or 70% of your game, I believe that'll be the winning of it. I look at 19, and we had Niamh Kilkenny player of the match. You look at 21. You look at the years we won the All-Irelands, the player of the match has come out of midfields. You look at Aisling Thompson last year with Cork. You look at, when you control that area of the field, and you won't do it for the hour, we know that, but if you can control it for 70% of the game, I believe you'll get the results there. And that's where I think is going to be huge for Galway on Saturday.
Yeah, because midfields are really the glue, aren't they? They stick, and they bring it from the defence into the forwards. And as you said, we've been lacking that a little bit since the likes of the Niamh Kilkennys and them have obviously left the scene. So it'll be a big test for the midfield. And it looks like Karen Kennedy could be around that middle of the field on Saturday.
Well, that's where she started against Kilkenny, and she's a huge player for them. She makes a big impact. I suppose we haven't what you'd call a settled midfield maybe throughout the last.
No, we haven't.
You know, we've been tying it. We've done Anne-Marie Starr in it. We've done a little bit of Aoife Dunn. Probably haven't seen as much of Aoife this year out there. Personally, I think it's her best position. You know, she's a massive workhorse. She has great cut in her, great tenacity in her. She's able to go forward and she's able to take the score. I'd love to see her out there. We've had Carrie out there. We've had Olwen Rabbit out there. We've had Sabina a little bit. So look at
Annie Kane was there before her injury.
And Ellie Heston's been in and out there. And again, I think we're trying to find the pair that works. Maybe we haven't just nailed that yet. And look, you name 3 or 4 of them girls there. Take out Aoife Dunn, take out Anne-Marie Starr. The two Rabbits and Ellie, they're only young as well. They're only new girls coming in the last year or two. They're not going to make this perfect overnight, you know, we know that. But I do believe it's a huge huge area of the field. It's a huge part of, I think, it's a catalyst for getting stuff moving up front, your supply chain to forwards.
Yeah.
I think if you win that battle, and I think if we can win that battle on Sunday, I think we'll get over the line, or on Saturday.
Yeah. And I suppose Niamh Mallon will be crucial, obviously, up front, but no doubt Tipperary will have their homework done on her, Sharon. Do you know what I mean? From a scoring perspective, especially the amount that she scores from play. Like Carrie, let's hope, it'd be great if Carrie's frees and everything goes well for her. But then you have Grace O'Brien, the opposite side with Tipperary. So as Aoife said before we went online with you tonight, we were saying, would it be a game of free takers? Carrie versus Grace.
Yeah, and look at the teams.
You hope it isn't. You hope it isn't.
No, you would hope it wouldn't be. You'd hope to be more free flowing. I suppose, like everything else, you come into an All Ireland semi final and there's an awful lot at stake because everybody wants to get back to Croke Park. Everybody does, and I think sometimes the game can get scrappy. And maybe if one team is up 3 or 4 coming into, you're up 3 or 4 or 5, and you have to go for broke. Again, you look at Tip last Sunday, they were playing it very tight in the defence. They didn't want to leak goals against Cork. They were 6 down at half time and they went out and they kind of went man to man for the second half. So that's when the game really opened up. That's when scores get created. Yeah. So I think, I'm hoping we have a good game and a high score. Now, Galway have been coming up with high scores, girls. They've been coming up with,
especially in this year's championship. Yeah.
But you look at the group as well. I think Galway are probably the more consistent of the two teams, but Tip seem to be peaking at the right time. And they've had a fairly successful underage as well, the Tip teams. And I don't know what's happened in the last year or so. They kind of went off the boil a little bit. They won the league and they had, but they seem to have settled a little bit more now. They seem to be peaking at the right time. But Galway have been fairly, obviously, at the beginning of the year, I suppose. But now they seem to be one of the most consistent teams in that. Now, look at the group isn't, let's call a spade here. No disrespect to any other teams, but there isn't really too many teams that will really make, the end of the championship. Do you know what I mean? There was some awful things got there.
And they're able to see out games as well, Sharon. If you think of Clodagh McIntyre, number 12 for Tipperary, taken off, came back on extra time, point to prove, and scored a cracker of a goal that you wouldn't see in any man's game. So they know how to win in tight margins. So I have a feeling they will seriously put Galway to the pillar.
It's going to be a close one, for sure.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think it will. And, right now, of course, my heart is saying Galway. Right now, if you were to say which of them will do it, Jesus, I think it's going to be awfully tight. I can't see anyone conceding soft goals or bad scores. I think it'll be nip and tuck. I think the 2 free takers will be critical. Both Grace O'Brien and Carrie. I think they'll be critical. Because Grace O'Brien got 9 points against Kilkenny, 8 frees and 1 from play. So that's 8 scores out of Kilkenny's or out of Tip's 118 or 119. Carrie came up was 8 or 9 the last day against Waterford in the last group match out of 18 or 19. So you're looking at 50% of your scores coming from the free takers. So they really need to be on form too. They need to have a good day. Or again, look, Niamh Mallon's going to still prove a huge. She's a wonderful forward.
And
probably one of the top.
And she's quite good again. She was slightly injured there at the Galway. Have been kind of unlucky enough with injuries and stuff, but they've been, breeding a few.
Anya Kane's a huge loss to them.
That's such a pity for her. Yeah,
it is, and she was hurling well, and they kind of slaughtered her back to 6. And I think she, she's a fierce, powerful woman. She's a great hand on her, great long clearances.
Great reader.
Yeah, she's an all-round good hurler and was having a good all year. Thomas is getting to the county final and had a good. I know, you pipped by Sarsfields again, but she had a good year herself. It's just. But look, this is the game we're in today. Cruciate ligaments. They seem to be
so common, don't they?
Yeah, and it's at every age from 16 up. It just seems to be so. I suppose, like everything, women, the bodies are taught to the last with training today. As opposed to our time now, there wasn't as many.
I didn't even know what a cruciate was. Let us strength and conditioning coach.
Harkin, you thought
fast feet on the ladders with Damien.
Harkin thought the core was the centre of the earth. So
but you know what? Our best strength and conditioning, Sharon, was in the bog or cycling to train.
Absolutely, cycling to train about 10 miles. Yeah.
But what they do say, all kind of joking aside about the cruciates, but like when you look at most of the players and even the hurlers there in the All-Ireland final, most of them are wearing the mouldy boots, like, and the studs that are going the opposite direction, the blades.
Like
so
cleats,
they do say that the blades, because obviously when you're wearing the studs, you can, if you move, they kind of twist around, but that it has, the cruciates have gone up massively since blades were formed with, say, the boots and the mouldies. We're not wearing the proper footwear as well for Ireland. Like it's slippy under conditions all the time. Like, and Croke Park is slippy too, but obviously it's Nolan Park. It'll be like a carpet now at the weekend. So please God, touch wood,
yeah. Tactically, Sharon, where do you think maybe on Saturday it'll be won or loss for Galway?
Other than midfield now.
I'm getting back to Niamh Mallon again, like a fantastic player, but where is her best position? Like, she's been tried and tested all around the square. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's very hard to know where you'd actually place her. But obviously, Tip are going to either man mark or they'll have their homework done. But
are we lacking then? Like, if we have to keep moving, I'm not saying her as a player. I'm saying, are we lacking in forwards then, or is that?
Well, look, you're looking at your own forwards. Like, look at our forwards there the last day. You have, as I said, you have the Cueva Kellys, the Alvin Rabbits, Mairead Dillon, who's kind of breaking into there last year. They're young girls, like, and they just haven't maybe found a full flow yet. It takes a year or 2 or 3 to get to the level. You get to the physicality of it, get to the pace of it, the tip of it, and a bit of confidence in yourself too. Young players lack confidence probably coming on, and you're always looking to give it outside to the Ailish O'Reillys and Aoife Dunhu's and that. I think, for me, again, I think Niamh Mallon's best position is corner forward, with a little bit of a floating role. She's not physically a big woman, like, so when you play her in central, look at, yes, on the edge of the square, could she cause damage? She can, but it's probably easier to mind her centrally.
Yes.
Than maybe corner forward. And look at today, girls, as you know yourselves, there's no such thing as corner forward or wing forward. The positions mean absolutely nothing. So I suppose you really have to create space for, and Cueva Kelly is no different in the other corner. They're 2 lighter players. They love ball front of them. They love kind of space. That's what they'll be happier to get. Do you know what I mean? Whereas if we had Sabina Rabbit at full forward tomorrow, I would say go back and play the traditional game. Put it down on top of her high. A woman in the hand. I'd say she's almost 6 foot. Good, mighty girl to put the paw up, and no fear, and is strong for her age. She's a stronger player now. And you have Cueva Kelly in and Niamh, who's lighter, so something quicker in front of them is going to work. So look, at the matchups have to be good. Karen Kindy has got to be minded. Marie Evanston at centre forward. What do? Do you put someone on her that's going to kind of null her, but then you'll null your own game a little? Or do you...
Well, think of it, Sharon. Ronan Maher kind of did that to his own game, to mine Brian Hayes on last weekend, and it kind of worked too, didn't it? So sometimes you might have to sacrifice a good player in order to win the game. I thought
Caoimhe McCarthy at wing back against Kilkenny was brilliant. And I'll be honest, I think she's a player you could probably put on Galway's biggest threat, and she'd manage, I think, anywhere. I think she's going to have a bit of an impact. Galway, our Tips backs are fairly solid now. The 2 cornerbacks, there's nothing easy going to come there. They've Costigan in one corner and Lockman, is it, in the other corner?
Yes.
That was what started against Kilkenny now. Nice and tidy, Again, hardy bits of stuff. You're not going to get in easily. But I'm going to come back, women. I think free taking 1 and midfield.
Yeah.
And Karen Kindy, obviously, is a massive name there. And I think when we played Cork earlier this year, the Aisling Thompsons needs the Aoife Dunhu's to be kind of out there with you. I think you need that for the hardness. And I think Karen Kennedy, and again, only my opinion, calls there every day, and these people know more than I know, but I think the Karen Kindy doesn't need a younger Galway girl coming into the scene in the last year or 2. I think she needs someone seasoned that knows how to go about minding that, because I think Karen Kindy could have a big influence in that game now.
Well, maybe the reason Aoife's in corner forward is maybe we know she was injured for a lot of the league. She came on against Dublin, I think, in Kilbacon. She maybe the second group, it was a shoulder. So maybe she's not back to full fitness yet, so maybe she's going maybe wing forward, given that little bit of freedom. Maybe she'd come out as the third midfielder.
But Tip I think they've a slight advantage in their physicality. I think they're a bigger,
they're serious high ball players. They're very physical.
So we'd have to be very careful, and the ball would be given into the corner forwards or that, keep it wide, obviously. But I'm sure they've thought of all these and kind of thought of all the matchups and stuff like that, because you have to. And as you said, we keep mentioning Kennedy. She has to be watched. And
you have to mind the influential players, because at the end of the day, they're the ones that kind of steered the thing over the line. I think myself, and more than Tip minded Niamh Mellon, or not conceding frees inside 35-40 yards, knowing what Carrie Dolan can do. Do you know what I mean? They're going to pick out where they can run at you, maybe, and hurt you the most. I suppose Derval moving to fullback, I always liked her in the corner coming out towards the wing, because there's great cushion her. She's very aggressive. And I think at times she's restrained a little at fullback, because that's a total different position. You can't be as mad to go forward, but she's been definitely one of Galway's best backs and best defenders in the last 2 or 3 years, Derval. She's there's great old gusto in her. I love her whole application and approach. She's coming like a train for everything. Does she make mistakes? Of course she does. We all did. But I think she's maybe, I'd say herself would like to probably be a little further out than fullback. But look, that's it. You play the hand you're dealt as well, girls. And I know Roisin Black had been away for a couple of months, and then you pick up injuries and you pick up knocks. And as I said, look, the lads, Cahill and all his crew, are looking at these girls day in, day out in training, and all you can really do is pick from training and form. We all look at players. I came out from the under-14 county final. Camogie was on in Ballinasloe this evening, and St. Coleman's beat Shamrocks in the final. And you're looking out on the field, and it's all about performance on the day, isn't it? And in the hour,
especially with girls.
It takes finals take a story of their own, don't they? You could have all the preparation on, but if you don't put in a performance,
and things can happen, nerves, and you could be sick in the morning of you just don't know. But listen, it's a good match, and that it puts up a good spectacle. And I seriously, I can't wait to see how many thousands are going to be at that match with all the, this, we keep saying about the whole time people were commenting on the skirts, and we had a big brigade kind of championing, Camogie players. Let's see now and hope that they come out and support it in massive numbers.
Well, absolutely. I never heard such a rigmarole in all my life about the skirts and shorts and skirts and shorts. It went on and on and on. And I was saying, I made the comment to one of the Galway County boards that if everyone that had a comment on this, whether we wore skirts or shorts, was to turn up at a match, we'd fill Grove Park. You know what I mean? There was so much about it.
All talk.
Yeah. So, I hope the people Galway, and I hope everyone gets out and supports the. I know last year there was a good crowd in Nolan Park. For the semis, there was a good crowd. So I do hope everyone gets out. And look, the Galway women are our last hope here in this county now. Everything else is gone, and we've been knocked out. So, and in fairness to Galway, I have to say, and in Cahill's tenure over the last 5-6 years there, and even in the last 10, for the people before them, we've been blessed with great days out with Galway Camogie. We've had some, we've gotten to so many All-Ireland finals. We've picked up the couple of All-Irelands, and in more than every county, we've probably left maybe one or two that we could have won as well behind us.
But and 5 or 6 more with us.
And more,
we've had great days with this group. And look, there is a little bit of transition when you see some of them younger players coming through. And, I just hope they have a good hour. I'd like to see some of the younger girls kind of come to the fore now a little, because we know probably what the girls that have been there a long time can do, and everyone else knows it as well. So I'd love to see maybe a Mairead Dillon or a Quiva Kelly or one of the Rabbit girls. Or I'd love to see someone new shake the thing up. Absolutely. And, be the new star. To be lovely to see a 1920, like Ciara Hickey, in fairness, has done very well.
Yeah. She's I like her style, and she, as you
very
said,
consistent.
And you mentioned earlier about tenacity. To me, she reminds me of a great wing back who is not only a brilliant defender, but is happy and comfortable going forward, and is well able to score as well. Do you know what I mean? And she's tough. She's a tough woman.
Yeah. No, she's
under 23 as well.
And speaking of
she's a good bit of stuff. Well, listen, I have to give a shout out to her mother, Meg Sicky. She was full forward back in '92 when we beat Davos in the first county final. Megs was there.
Davos will be delighted to remind them of that. They haven't forgotten.
I didn't say the age. I just said the county final. But herself and Catherine Dallin, Catherine Dallin had a great battle. They were great friends. The two of them used to work together at the time, I believe. Right. But look, it's lovely. Some of these people have put great work into clubs, and Lord Davos or any club around the county. It's just nice, I suppose. Yeah. We're at an age now where we're seeing. Well, I'm seeing daughters. I heard with their mothers, so now I'm definitely starting to feel old now, women, when I say I heard with your mother. But we are at that stage.
It's great to look back and say I heard with your mother.
I heard with your mother.
We were talking there as well about the under 23s. Like, there's a lot, fair play to Galway. They won the under 23 competition for the first time this year, but there's 10 or 11 of them girls on the senior panel, and maybe some of them now, obviously they couldn't play in the championship up to now, or they would have lost their kind of place on the under 23, because you're not allowed to play both, obviously. But I'd say there'll be a lot of them now gunning to get a look in on Saturday as well. Do you know?
Yeah, I would imagine so. And look, I think the under 23 probably works well the way it was organised there. I think your senior manager has to be involved. I know there was discussions here who'd get the manager of the under 23, but I do think it has to be your senior manager.
Obviously.
You have to have that connection, because this is your feeder team. Like, I know there's people in Galway maybe disappointed we don't have an intermediate, but the reality is, if you're 30 odd years of age and you're playing intermediate,
you haven't made it at that stage.
You are not a feeder for a Galway senior team now.
No.
Because if you're not making a Galway senior team at 20, 21, 22, 23 years of age, if you're not making it, if you haven't admitted by 23, do you know what I mean? Chances are 24, chances are you're not going to now, because we all know the age profile of Camogie. Like the Ciara Hickeys come in at 19 years of age. We're looking at like the Queevy Kellys, the Red Dillons. I'm looking at these kids now. Yeah. Like, well, I won't call them kids, but these girls are only in their early 20s. So you need to be stepping up at that. We all know if you're good enough, you're probably in at that point. Yeah. So while there's a bit of debate about the senior counties losing out the intermediate team I don't think was a feeder for Galway seniors. Whereas I do believe your under 23 team is a feeder in every county. And I think maybe this year was a little scratchy to get it started and up and running. I do think counties will put more time and work into that as we go forward. And I do think it'll benefit, Galway and every other senior county as well, to be honest.
Cork were actually training since, like...
right through.
They were training really hard.
Because Galway were hammered by Cork in the under 23 in the group.
In the group stages, there was 9 or 10 points in it. Yeah, they were well beaten. But again, girls, I suppose he has 9 or 10 of them at that time, and then he started drafting in more, we'll say, to make up under 23. But like when you look down at that under 23,
great achievement though.
Panel, there's some fine hurlers there, and a lot of them are minors and under 16s of the last 2, 3, 4 years. And it's good. They're the girls you need to keep at the top. You need to keep them there. Maybe they'll never make a senior player, but you certainly need to stay looking at them until they're 21, 2 years of age, and give them every opportunity. And if they're not able to make it, then well, that's it. You're probably not able, but at least you have them under the eye. Whereas it's a good competition, because minor, the gap is too big from minor to maybe the senior. So I was all in favour of that competition. Now I think it's more beneficial again going forward.
Well, it's definitely more of a feeder, as you said, because the intermediate team in Galway for a long time, we were trying to win the intermediate as opposed to breeding them into the seniors. Do you know what I mean? So definitely, and as you said, you haven't gotten a chance.
If you're in your late 20s or hitting into 30 years of age, and you're not going to be a senior player now, and you hadn't made it, well, you're not making it now. That's just and again, it's hard. It's just cold hard facts. Like, you're not. And I think when you were looking at winning intermediate, even, that's exactly it. You weren't concerned about the feeding of it. Do you know what I mean? So this one is a feeder. It's like another underage title, working towards the big goal of being a Galway senior. And I think that's a great way. Good mentality as well for that age group. I'm working towards being on a Galway senior team.
Yeah, it lessens the dropout from 18 plus. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yes. And we're keeping them in that environment of high standard training, and yourselves, because we go back to clubs, and because the club championship now is so condensed into, like, we all kick off here in 3-4 weeks time. We play 4 games in 5 Sundays, and then we're either at a knockout, we're either in a relegation final or a quarter final. So if you're not on a county panel, you know, you have an awful long year to wait till August for a championship, and then it's all over. So when you didn't have the minor, from minor to 23, that's why I think it's very beneficial to keep these girls hurling at that high level. Because not every club girls is operating on the same level. You know what I mean? Some clubs are professional, some are semi, and some are just going through the motions as well. I'm happy to go through it, you know, like you crowd there now, Aoife.
What? Excuse me? What? Come here.
But listen,
there was a minor match last night. I heard you were.
My goodness!
I heard
that was serious scoring.
It was a cracking
match, was it?
It was a cracking game of hurling. It was an absolute cracker.
98. Like, what a scoreline!
Yeah.
I was busy, and I was caught online doing a cycle ride course, so I couldn't make the semi-final last night. But I heard, by all accounts, Sharon Glynn was gone wild on the sideline, and it was a cracking game.
It was a cracking game. We came out the wrong side of it. We were 7 up at 1 stage.
7 or 8 points up, yeah.
Yeah, thought we'd hold on. We conceded 2 fast goals, kind of killed it, and we were a point up coming into the last couple of minutes of it, and 1-1 again came. But it was a cracking match, and look, we struggle with numbers down our side, obviously. We're in a 12-a-side competition, but if I could get a game like that every Friday for our girls, you know, and ours played as good as I've ever seen them play. You know, they punched above their weight at times.
Yeah.
But them sort of matches with that sort of competition, it was up and down the field. It was in stuff. It was brilliant, absolutely brilliant. And I know we came out the wrong side, but it was great.
Look,
it was
still, I think it's Abby not mind the final now, but they'll all want to come back now. Like at the start of the year, obviously, Ardahan didn't have numbers at all for a minor team, and now, do you know, when you're starting to win, now they're coming back, and you're kind of like, oh geez, you know, we went into it with the right kind of, you know, thoughts that we'd very little numbers, and last night then there was kind of, you'd more than a regular 15 aside, so it's good to see, but it'll keep them coming. A little bit of winning, you know, brings the crowd along.
Brings them on.
Yeah.
But look, we're coming near the end of it, Sharon. Predictions. So
is this for Love Island or the match on Saturday?
Love Island, I have no idea what match now, because you ruined it tonight.
There's 2 of us in it, Sharon.
Picture that. I don't know anything about that either. Go on. Picture that. What is it again?
Picture that. Meet you on the bridge. I reckon it's going to be decided by the finest of margins, and I think it's going to come down. It will come down to the wire, or else Galway are going to get out of the traps and are going to blow Tipperary off the field. I don't know.
One way or the other.
One way.
Yeah, no, I'm going Galway by 2 points. I think there'll be little to nothing in it, and I think no more than last year. We'll have our heart in our mouths coming into the last 5 or 6 minutes of it as well. I do think it'll be tight. The only thing I suppose maybe is a little disadvantage for us is we've had 4 weeks of a break. Tip have had a cracking quarter final against Kilkenny that went to extra time. Them games,
those games bring you on, and they're great preparation for semi-finals.
That's the same, I suppose, the fair side, didn't Sharon, as well, with Cork. Cork have had no real kind of hard game, you know.
No, they've had nothing. But I'll tell you girls, right here and right now, I hope we get over Saturday. I hope we're in Croke Park in 2 weeks' time. But right here and right now, I don't know, is there anyone in the country going to beat Cork? I think they're on another level this year of their physicality, the athleticism in them. I thought all throughout the league, throughout their group stages, like they've been blowing teams off the field. Like when they played Tip in
they peaked so quick, they peaked so quick, like Cork peaked so quick, and they stayed.
But they're massive stick players. Oh my God, they can pin a ball.
Yeah, they can, and you know, they have key people in key positions again. And like I still go back to the Aisling Thompsons and Laura Tracy's down the middle there, the spine. They're the hard hitters for Cork. They soften a lot of what goes on. And then you have the Laura Hayeses and the wing backs. They're coming up the field, pop up with 3 and 4 points. Every single
brilliant players.
Saoirse McCarthy's, the Hannah Looney's, the Mackeys. Oh lads, if we had only we take one or two of them, we'd build around it probably, you know.
Yeah.
But I just thought this year, they just look like they're in another level. But look, every day takes on its own.
Yeah.
I'm not giving a whole lot of hope maybe to Waterford, but they've nothing to lose. I think Cork is going to win that one comfortably. I think ours will be a
totally
different.
match of it anyway, Sharon. Do you know?
Yeah, Dublin got Cork last year in the semi, and it was fierce one-sided. You know what I mean? It was over before it started. Really, 10 minutes in, and it was kind of half over. So I do hope we get good quality games. I presume they both been televised, girls, on Sunday or Saturday.
Yeah, they are. Yeah,
3 o'clock and 5
yeah,
o'clock.
Yeah. So look, we'd hope for two good games at Camogie, and you know, at the end of the day, the best team always.
Nice, so it's promised nice. Like, so it's a day out, and you know, you'd encourage families. God be with the days when we go on the road trips, and we'd be so looking forward to heading off and watching a game and go down Supermax. Then on the way home, you can't beat it.
You get special passes. The two of you now will get special passes, I presume.
Listen,
happy birthday, by the way.
We got special passes 25 years ago when we had a few on Ireland.
We've been getting special passes all our life, Lynskey, so shut up, you.
I missed it. What you say? I'll meet you on the bridge.
I'll meet you on the bridge, that's what I said. Which bridge? Mother of God above. Imagine at the tender age of 50, we nearly got lost at the cathedral in Galway. Imagine.
That's because they built a bridge that we didn't even realise was there.
That's because I was special.
Sharon, we really
hard to believe we were in at 7 o'clock, Aoife, and we still missed the first song at 9:10. Good woman, Aoife. Well done.
I bet you a tin up or down. I bet you tenor was the song that you knew.
The only one I knew when I missed it.
Listen, it's been an absolute pleasure. We are so grateful to have you on, Sharon. We were supposed to have a Galway and a Tipperary player on, but for some strange reason they weren't available. I don't know whether it was the county boards or whether it was Croke Park, but we looked at each other and we said, who would come on and have a chat with us?
The one and only, the legend.
The Speedy Gonzalez.
Speedy.
And listen to me, how much, thanks for the Speedy comments, how much do I owe you for the introduction now? Because I'm sure you didn't do it for nothing.
I'll meet you at the races.
And listen,
thanks a million, Sharon. Good crack.
And listen to me.
Thanks so much for coming on. And regards to Mum and Dad and them all. I have to mention Michelle. I have to mention to Joey and to Bobby and Mary, because I know you'll be telling them you were on chatting. So shout out to all in Vermont. God bless you, and we will talk soon. All right.
Good, lovely to chat. See you soon. Bye. See you Saturday.
Take care. Bye. Bye.
Good one.
Oh, stop.
The crack.
The legend that is
the crack.
But listen, you have a shout out to one or two people.
Yeah, but speaking of when we were talking just there to Sharon, and we said that we couldn't get anybody on the pod. I don't know whether it was the problem with, like you said, Croke Park or the Camogie Association or whatever. But while I was waiting online, about 2.5 hours, the great Aoife Winston, Barney Winston, have you heard of Barney Winston?
Yes.
Of course, everybody has. She gave me her laptop because my laptop went dead, and she waited there with me in the Malvern Hotel, and you met her because you had to go there. So massive shout out to Aoife Winston of Ardrahan, who's now living in Oranmore, but she's married to a good tip man, and her son Ruan was with us there for the 2 hours. So a big shout out, and thanks a million, Aoife. Really appreciate it, borrowing your laptop, and to say hi to Aoife and all the gang in Ardrahan there as well. I suppose, and can't forget our upcoming walkathon. We're doing it with Ardrahan GA in conjunction with the Dylan Cork Foundation. So some of the proceeds are going to go to the Dylan Cork Foundation, and our youngsters will be getting tested and assessed in November. So that walkathon is on. It's actually Friday week, but it's kind of Saturday. It's really considered Saturday the 2nd because it's midnight Friday night going into Saturday, and we're going to walk for 12 hours. You'll be up, Harkin, you will.
I will.
And we'd really appreciate any support. It'll be all over social media there, and we'll be inviting people to take part and come and just support the great thing that is GA and the Dylan Cork Foundation. And
fantastic,
huge well done to Tipperary. I thought it was so poignant that they mentioned him so much. I thought,
oh my God, yeah, Liam Cahill wearing the vest, and Rona Maher giving him a massive
to bring a tear
and everything. It would have bring a tear.
So well done to all and Tip for that.
So listen, before we finish off, the best of luck to the Galway senior Camogie team and to the management and all involved. And I hope that the girls are, ready
first,
and up for it, and will take it one step further and give us all another day out in Croke Park. And I think that's it, my friend.
I think it is.
So
from me to you.
From me to you, and from you to me.
See, probably 2 weeks, less than 2 weeks time. Please God, we'll be talking about Galway. We've been in an All-Ireland senior time.
And a big shout out to Sharon. Thanks a million for joining us on the pod this week. Okay, bye-bye.